My hand gently glided over her fair skin, soft to the touch. I let a small grin creep onto my lips as I looked into her light hazel eyes. So soft and gentle. I slid my hand up to her face and gently caressed her cheek. She struggles to turn away from my touch. Her tears started to fall once again. Her small frame thrashed around in the restraints that held her to the table. Her voice may have been muffled, but it was glorious. I think I finally found the perfect suit. I thought, letting another smile glide onto my lips. Shh, dear. Everything is going to be okay, I say, grabbing the sharp scalpel and pushing it onto her arm. Her muffled voice got louder as I gently pushed the knife into her delicate skin. I have to be sure your skin is the right shade, I say quietly. She quickly shook her head, as if she had a choice. Her crimson blood caressed my gloved hand like a past lover would have. The whimpers grew louder as I pulled her skin back to cut the rest of it off. I glanced up at her hazel eyes, watching my hands closely through her tears. I gave a light chuckle as I finished peeling the patch of skin off. I quickly placed it into a jar of embalming fluid for the time being. I quickly wrapped her small arm in a tan bandage so she wouldn't bleed out. If you are the right skin tone, I want your skin to be fresh. It wouldn't hold otherwise. Her eyes widened and more tears ran down her cheeks. I gave a small sigh and grabbed the small needle and gently pressed it into the tender skin on her neck. Her eyes gently closed and her small body finally relaxed. I put her in her respected cell and quickly went back to the skin patch. My eyes were filled with joy as I took the jar over to the mirror. I tore off my gloves and quickly stripped to get into the bloody jeans I had hanging close by. I stood back and gazed at my reflection in the tall mirror. My slender frame was perfect. My eyes, perfect. My hair, perfect. My skin, disgusting. The natural opaque skin color was awful. I wanted to rip it off my body. My legs, untouched by the scalpel, were covered by the overalls. My arms and chest had been overrun by different shades of fair skin. The stitches separating them were prominent enough to tell them all apart. I gave an exasperated sigh and started searching for an unused part of my chest. A spot near my waist was available. I quickly snatched the scalpel and began cutting. The pain was bland. Same old, same old. Blood poured endlessly over the jeans. I placed a blood-stained towel over the skinless patch as I got my new skin out of the jar. I carefully pulled the patch out of the liquid and placed it neatly on a towel to dry for a moment. The needle was prepared beforehand and waiting to be weaved through the beautiful new skin. There was still a slight burn in my side from the new skin. I walked down the dark corridor to reach my mirror to examine myself. I smiled as a rush of excitement ran through my spine. I quickly tore off my shirt and smiled large. It was perfect. The skin melded perfectly with my body. I have to get her in here now, I thought quickly. I ran to her cell and barged in. Please, let me out, she pleaded, tears filling her eyes once again. I only stared. I ran over and yanked her out. I gripped her arm tightly. I only loosened slightly when I heard her let out a small whimper. We got into the lab and I pushed her onto the table. I quickly secured her body to the table. I ran over to my equipment and pushed the small cart next to her trembling figure. I pulled my scrubs on and secured my mask over my face. I walked over to her to examine her alive for the last time. I pulled the last glove on and leaned closer to her. I let out a low chuckle and inhaled her smell. Everything is perfect. I can finally be perfect. I stared into her hazel eyes and smiled. And they always said to be comfortable in your own skin, but it doesn't always work how you want it to, I said gently. So how about I be comfortable in yours?